All right, and we are going to start just in whatever is the most comfortable seated position for you right now. Oh, close your eyes. We're going to start breathing deeply. And we're gonna, let's take a deep inhale, breathe in peace, serenity. Exhale, let go of any anxiousness or negativity that you have. We'll take a few more deep breaths that way. And I also want you to take notice of how you're feeling right now. We're going to take one more cleansing breath. Exhale, let it all out. And then keep breathing deeply for the rest of the class. We're going to begin today in a butterfly pose. So let's go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. Sit up as tall as you can, take a deep inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to fold over our ankles. So we are going to be here for 5 minutes. I want you to keep in mind that all of these poses, or the majority of these poses, are going to be pretty uncomfortable, but they should not be intensely painful. So if anything feels intense, please do come out of it. Also, we're going to be holding all these poses for quite a long time, so you don't need to go deep into them right away. Allow yourself to slowly and gently go deeper into the pose as you're holding it. Please do keep using the full capacity of your lungs, so inhaling all the way in, exhaling all the way out. We're approximately halfway there. So in Yin Yoga, we spend a lot more time in each stretching pose. And we don't warm up our muscles first. We are doing that on purpose so that we can actually target our connective tissues, our fascia, the tendons, ligaments. They take a lot longer to get a stretch, and we have to be gentle about it. We're just going to take a few more very deep breaths here. Maybe sink a little bit deeper into the pose. And then we're going to push our way back up into seated. Go ahead and hook your knees. We're going to lift them up, bring them together. Set your hands under your shoulders, and we're going to drop the knees down side to side. All right, and then we're going to lower down onto the tummy next. So when I normally teach this one in class, so this is Cobra Pose, I tend to see a lot of people bring their elbows back. I need you to make sure that your elbows are directly under your shoulders so that your shoulders are propped up. And then we're going to drop our chin into the chest. So this one is just targeting the back of the neck and the shoulder area. Allow your neck to relax, so let your chin totally drop towards your chest. And allow your heart to sink down too, as opposed to pushing down into your elbows and lifting through the heart. We're going to allow it to sink down. Keep taking deep breaths. Take 3 more deep breaths here. And then we're gonna lift up. Just go ahead and lift your chin up, actually. The next one, you might wanna grab a pillow for. You don't have to have a pillow, but it'll be nicer if you do. We're gonna be taking one of our arms and we're gonna thread it underneath us. I'm gonna show you from here, so this is probably a better angle. We're gonna thread it underneath the other arm, and then we're gonna extend whichever arm is not underneath you. Let me just call it off. It's gonna be the left arm is threading underneath us, right hand is reaching forward. You can rest your forehead onto the mat or wherever you're at, or it might be nice to have a pillow. So normally I read to people in this class to help people get their minds off of the deep stretches that are sometimes painful. I'm not doing that because of the online version, but I do invite you to use this opportunity for meditation. So one of the first steps in meditating is to notice what thoughts cross your mind. So let's try to focus on our breath. So we're gonna inhale. Notice how it feels as the breath comes into your body. Exhale. Notice subtle sensations like maybe warmth, coolness, expansion, contraction. Notice as many details as you possibly can. And then when your mind wanders off to another topic that you weren't intending to think about, acknowledge what it is. Oh, that's interesting. I wasn't planning on thinking about that. I wasn't trying to think about that. And then let it go and go back to your breath. Oftentimes when we first start meditating, we find that our thoughts are constantly distracting us. And that's very normal. So don't be frustrated or upset if you keep having thoughts entering your mind. Just let them go and refocus on your breath again. We're going to take one more very deep, complete breath here. And then we're going to be switching to the other side. So we'll extend our left arm forward, tuck the right arm under, and then once you're there, rest. Maybe you can hear the sound of your breath. Maybe you can feel the sensation of the breath entering and exiting through the nostrils. We'll be here one more minute. One final deep breath here. All right, and we're gonna lift up. We're gonna stay pretty much in this position, but we're going to extend our left arm out to the left side of us. We're gonna flip it so that the palm is facing up and the thumb is pointing down towards the back of your mat. And then use your right hand, press into it. We're gonna turn our bodies so that we're laying on the side. Bend your knees. If you already feel like this is a good stretch, you can stay here. We have some other options though. We can lift the right knee up. If you'd like to go deeper than that, you have to bend your elbow, bring your hand in towards your back, clasp your hands behind your back, and then extend them out. This is another one that it might be nice to have a pillow to rest your head on. And then if you also want to go deeper than this, you can lift both knees up. Maybe you can even notice right now with your breath how it feels on your shoulders as you inhale and exhale. We've got 30 more seconds here. All right, and we'll release You can lower back onto your tummy. Now we'll be extending the right hand out to the right side. Again, flip it so that your thumb is facing down towards your feet and the palm is up. And then we'll press into the left side, laying down onto the side of the body. Remember, our options are to stay here. You can lift the left knee up. If you are bringing your hands together behind you, make sure you bend your elbow, bring your hands in, then clasp them, then pull them away. And again, come back to your breath. Something that also helped me when I first started meditating is sometimes I would count my breaths. And each time a thought would stop me from meditating, I would acknowledge what number I got to and then try to see if I could increase how many breaths I could count before I became distracted by my thoughts. Three more deep breaths in this pose. All right, and we'll release. Next, we are going to lift into a tabletop. And then we're going to come into a pigeon pose. If you prefer coming into pigeon from down dog, that's fine. But we're going to bring our left knee in between our hands. Slide your right thigh back. Look past your left shoulder so that your right hip sinks down. Also make sure that your ankle is approximately in front of where your right hip is. And then we're going to slowly lower down and hold it. If your left hip is really high lifted away from the mat, you might want to take a pillow. You can always fold it over and set it up underneath. Or if you have a block, that's another option, to set a block under your hip. So we're going to be here for 5 minutes on each side. If you're like me in this pose, I have a tendency to tense up. So I have to constantly try to relax as I'm holding this one. And if you're like me, you might have the same issue. What helps me is to imagine that I'm sending my breath into the muscles that are tensing up, and I'm using my breath to help them relax. If you are unable to practice this pose for any reason, if you have knee issues, another option is to lay down on your back and to bring your knee in towards your chest. This will stretch out the same area. We've been here 3 minutes so far. We just have 2 minutes left. Keep bringing your mind back to your breath. Take one more deep breath here. And then we're going to slowly come out of this pose. I encourage you to work out your left hip and thigh. So you can do that either from a tabletop pose by extending the foot back, bend, straighten, wiggle, shake, or you can do it in down dog if you prefer. And then I do recommend everybody comes to down dog for a little bit and walks it out. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So it'll be the right knee through, left thigh slides back. Look past your right shoulder, let your left hip sink down. Make sure your ankle is approximately in front of your left hip, and then slowly lower down. Again, go back to the breath. Every inhale, relax. Every exhale, try to let go of that tension. Still taking full, complete breaths. One minute left here. One final breath, make it count. And again, we'll come out of the pose and work it out. And then we're going to drop down to our knees again. We'll come into a reclined position next. We're going to bring the knees into the chest, and we'll come into a reclined twist. So I'm going to instruct both ways that you can do this. Let's take our right hand, we're going to place it on the left knee. Extend your left hand out to the left side of you. Make sure that your left shoulder stays planted. We're going to drop the knees down to the right. Now, if both your knees are touching and your bottom knee, your right knee, is touching the floor, then I invite you to go deeper into this pose by extending your right foot all the way forward. Just make sure that your left shoulder stays planted. And then we're going to look to the left. And then bringing our thoughts back to our breath. So in this pose, as you're holding it, imagine that your breath is going down your spinal column, and it's getting the muscles that are supporting your spine to relax so that you can twist deeper. We'll just be here about another 30 seconds. One more deep breath. And then we'll bring the knees into the chest. We're going to rock them side to side. We'll go into the pose the same way. So we're going to take our left hand on our right knee this time. Extend your right hand out to the side of your right shoulder. Keep the right shoulder down as you drop the knees down to the left. Again, both your knees are touching and the bottom knee is touching the floor. Then extend your left ankle to the bottom edge of your mat. And we'll look to the right. Keep breathing deeply. Two more minutes here. Just a few more breaths. Maybe you can sink a little deeper into the twist for these last few. All right, and then we'll release. We're going to bring our knees back into the chest. This time we'll keep them together and roll them around together in a circle multiple times. And then reverse the direction. Okay, and then we're going to end by bringing the feet out to approximately a max width distance. We're going to drop the knees down to the left. You can stay here. If you are staying here, keep your right knee active, meaning keep pressing it down towards the mat very actively. Another option you have is to take your left ankle and place it to the right side of your right knee. Four more deep breaths here. And then we'll unwind. Make sure you set your left foot on the left edge of your mat. And then we're going to drop the knees down to the right. So again, if you're just holding it here, the whole time you're holding it, you're going to be very actively pressing your left knee down towards the mat. Otherwise, you can take your right ankle, cross it over to the left side of the left knee, and hold it there. 4 more deep breaths again. And then we'll unwind. Bring the knees back into the chest. This time, place your left hand on your left knee, right on the right. Each knee is going to roll around in their own individual circles. And then we'll reverse their directions. All right, and it's time for Shavasana. So bring your hands out to the sides of the body and allow yourself to just relax here. We are going to allow our breath to go back to a normal state, but I invite you to continue paying attention to the in and out, how it feels. As you bring air in, maybe you'll notice differences between when you breathe deeply and when you are at a resting breathing rate. So we're going to continue with that meditation. Allowing whatever thoughts that enter our mind to pass away and refocus on our breath. All right, bring your mind's awareness back into your physical body. We're going to reevaluate how we're feeling at this moment and see if you can notice any differences since the beginning of class. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. And then let's wiggle our fingers and toes. going to reach the hands up towards the ceilings. Stretch from your hands to your shoulders. And then we'll walk the feet in, lift the knees up, and drop the torso down to one side. We're going to make our way into seated. And we'll end in an easy pose. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for taking this time to stretch and relax and feel at peace. I hope that you feel better, and I hope this is a great start to your week, and I hope that you continue to put your health first. Namaste. And if anyone has anything that you would like to, any advice you'd like to give or anything you'd like to share, please feel free to do so.
Thank you, Betsy. That was beautiful.
Good, you're welcome, Griffin. Thank you.
Is that recorded?
I did record it. In fact, I'm going to stop